Re-enter Antonio with a pistol and Cariola. Oh, I forgot to give you the parts. Duchess will be played by Samia. Antonio Maruk. Cariola Anika. Re-enter Antonio with a pistol and Cariola.
You saw this apparition?
It's apparition. Apparition means viewing some ghost. Apparition means a ghost. You saw this apparition? Begin again.
You saw this apparition?
Yes, we are betrayed. How can I hither? I should turn this thief for that.
It's how came. How came he hither? So very good. The way this and this
Okay.
was done, good. Let's see Cariola.
Pray, sir, do. And when that you have cleft my heart, you shall read there my innocence.
Good. Continue. Continue.
Duchess,
Samya. Samya, have you got disconnected? Are you there? I'll play her part meanwhile. Let's begin again. You saw this apparition?
Yes, we are betrayed. How came I hither? I should turn this to thee for that.
pray, sir, do. And when that you have cleft my heart, you shall read there my innocence.
That gallery gave him entrance.
I would this terrible thing would come again, that standing on my guard I might relate my warrantable love.
She shows the poniard.
She shows the poniard. How? What means this?
He left this with me.
And it seems did wish you would use it on yourself.
His action seemed to intend so much.
This other handle to it, as well as a point, turn it towards him, and so fasten the keen edge in his rangle, knocking within. How now? Who knocks? More earthquakes?
I stand as if a mine beneath my feet were ready to be blown up.
This Bosola,
Away. Oh, misery, methinks unjust actions should wear these masks and curtains, and not we. You must instantly part hence. I have fashioned it already. Exit Antonio. Fashioned it means I have planned it already. Then the other things that you need to know here is that the poniard has a handle and it has a point. You can instead turning it towards yourself, turn it towards him, and so fasten the keen edge in his rangle. And keen edge means the sharpest edge you can put on his throat. And they hear knocking again. How now? Who knocks more earthquakes? So they know the ground beneath them is shaking now. That's why earthquakes. And before that, Antonio has some doubt about Cariola. He says, how came he hither? I should turn this to thee. This doubt will only turn towards thee for that he got entrance from the side that he did. Pray subdue, when that you have cleft my heart, when you rip open my heart, you shall read there my innocence. And when you are killing me, if you think I betrayed you, kill me and cleft my heart, open my heart up, and you will see my innocence there written in my heart. And other than that, I would this terrible thing would again. I wish this terrible thing would come again. That standing on my God, I might relate my warrantable love. That he will tell about his love that he has towards the Duchess. He would tell him standing on his God. I wish that he comes again when I am here. That's it. And then Basola enters. Continue. Okay. Oh, misery, methinks unjust actions should wear these masks and curtains, and not we. Oh, misery, I want that unjust actions do not unfold. This is unfolding. Instead of us requiring these masks and curtains to be secretive about the marriage that we've had, I wish that unjust actions are covered instead. Bursola enters. Bursola and Duchess have a dialogue between each other. You two can continue. So I was playing the Duchess, and there was no Bursola. Um, can we have you now, Samya?
Ma'am,
Yeah, now we can hear you.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. You play Bursola, I'll continue playing the Duchess. Though I was
Okay,
not
ma'am.
planning to play any part. Come on.
The Duke, your brother, is taken up in a whirlwind, hath took horse, and is rid post Rome.
So late?
He told me, as he mounted into the saddle, you were undone.
Indeed, I am very near it.
What's the matter?
Antonio, the master of our household, hath dealt so falsely with me in his account. My brother stood engaged with me for money, taken up of certain Neapolitan Jews, and Antonio lets the bond be forfeit.
Strange. Aside, this is cunning.
Don't read stage directions. Play it. Play it as strange is for the Duchess, and this is to himself. Read it
Okay,
again.
ma'am. Strange. This is cunning.
And hereupon my brother's bills at Naples are protested against. Call up our officers.
I shall.
He exits. What she says is that, uh, what's the matter? Why, Basola asks, why is your brother in a whirlwind and has gone to Rome to meet maybe the elder brother, Cardinal? She says it's because of Antonio, who was the master of my household. What he has done is that he has dealt so falsely with me in his accounts that he has um, misled or not miskept the, I don't know if that's the word. The accounts haven't been kept right, and that maybe there is an embezzlement in his name. My brother stood engaged with me for money taken up of certain Neapolitan Jews, taken up by some Neapolitan Jews. And Antonio lets the bonds be forfeit. He had taken some money from Neapolitan Jews. I told you time and again, why are Jews mentioned in this time, in literature of this time, and what are they associated with? Jews are associated with wealth. In
Money.
all literature that you read, Shakespearean, Websterian, Johnsonian, or Marlowean also. Even Marlowe treats them like that. So, which text of Marlowe deals with Jews?
Um, the Jew of नहीं the something of that
Something of
जो
something.
आपने पढ़ा था history में
Christopher
कुछ
Marlowe's
some
Jew of Malta.
the
Malta.
Jew of Malta exactly.
Yes, the Jew of Malta. So they are associated with wealth. So some Jew had given him money, and Antonio did not keep accounts right. So there was an embezzlement with the money. And then Basola says, strange, I know the truth. What you are saying to me is just a lie. And then he says aside, this is cunning. And hereupon my brother's bills at Naples are protested against. Call up our officers. Now these are the Jews from Naples, Neapolitan. Neapolitan Jews. And now, when he has gone back to Naples, he got to know his bills have been protested, that something is wrong with the bills, and now you need to call upon officers. I shall. Re entered Antonio. Duchess, um, who was playing Antonio?
Mahrukh.
Mammy, Mahrukh.
Okay, continue playing Antonio, and I'll continue playing the Duchess. And we'll have Basola in a while. So, Basola, who was playing Basola?
Mummy,
Samya.
mummy. Yes, ma'am.
Samya, continue. And all the officers will be done by Anika, but you will have to change your voice with each officer talking. Okay? Be careful about that.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see how we can do this. Re enter Basola and officers. Antonio. No, no, wait. We let some part. Re enter Antonio. Antonio comes back after having. Why does he exit?
Because Basola and the Duchess
That-
had to talk about.
Somebody was knocking. It turned out to be Basola. And Duchess told him that she has already planned something. You just need to go from here. He goes, he actually only hides. And then after she is done talking with Basola, Basola is sent off and Antonio comes back, re enters. Maybe he's hiding behind the curtains, and she also talks about hiding behind the curtains. It shouldn't be that we are supposed to hide under masks and curtains because Antonio is sent behind the curtain. Instead, she wants that unjust actions be hid behind the curtains. Let's read. Re enter Antonio. The place that you must fly to is Ancona. Hire a house there. I'll send after you my treasure and my jewels. Our weak safety runs upon enginous wheels. Short syllables must stand for periods. I must now accuse you of such a feigned crime as Tasso calls magnanima menzogna, a noble lie, because it must shield our honors. Hark, they're coming. Re-enter,
Will your Grace, sorry,
re-enter Basola and officers.
will your Grace hear me?
I have got well by you. You have yielded me a million of loss. Okay, now they are playing it. Since Basola is entering with the officers, Antonio and Duchess are playing a drama. Okay, let's change the tone. Duchess is accusing him of embezzlement, and Antonio wants to clear his position. We'll play it like that. Antonio, begin again.
Will your Grace hear me?
I have got well by you. You have yielded me a million of loss. I am like to inherit the people's curses for your stewardship. You had the trick in order time to be sick till I had signed your quietus, and that cured you without help of a doctor. Gentlemen, I have this man be an example to you all. So shall you hold my favor? I pray let him, for he has done, alas, you would not think of. And because I intend to be rid of him, I mean not to publish. Use your fortune elsewhere.
I'm strongly armed to brook my overthrow, as commonly men bear with a hard year. I'll not blame the cause but do think the necessity of my malevolent star procures this, not her humor. Oh, the inconsistent and rotten ground of service! You may see this even like him that in the winter night takes a long slumber over a dying fire, aloft to part from it, yet parts thence as cold as when he first sat down.
We do confiscate towards the satisfying of your accounts all that you have.
I'm all yours, and 'tis very fit all mine should be so.
So, sir, you have your pass.
You may see, gentlemen, what is to so a prince with body and soul.
Exit.
Here is an example for extortion.
Wait for a while. With every exit, I'll explain the part that we have previously done.
Okay.
So in this one, mm,
The part done by Antonio, that one, the I didn't understand that, the winter one.
even before that, there is some part that needs to be spoken about. Okay, this one, this is done. So she tells him the plan that he has to fly to Ancona, hire a house, and there she will send the treasure and the jewels with someone else. Our weak safety runs upon engine's wheels. This is where she thinks that they are ruined, that we are not safe here anymore, and it's on engine's wheels. It's very close. It's running towards us. Short syllables must stand for periods. What do you think this means? Short syllables must stand for periods.
Is this syllables that we use in literature, those syllables?
Yes. So what she means is that a short period will be very long for hardships. Hardships feel like that. Periods, long periods. I must now accuse you of such a faint crime as Tasso called magnanima menzogna, which means a magnanimous lie. So this is a text that Tasso had written. The name of the text is Jerusalem Librata. It's a very important text, Jerusalem Librata, written in 1581. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
Jerusalem
ma'am.
Librata, literally in English translation, means Jerusalem delivered, also known as the liberation of Jerusalem or the freed Jerusalem. It's an epic poem by Italian poet Torquato Tasso, first published in 1581, that tells a largely mythified version of the First Crusade, in which Christian knights led by Godfrey of Bouillon battled Muslims in order to take Jerusalem. Tasso began work on the poem in the mid 1560s. Originally, it bore the title Il Goffredo. It was completed in April 1575, and that summer the poet read his work to Duke Alfonso of Ferrara and Lucrezia, Duchess of Urbino. A pirate edition of 14 cantos from the poem appeared in Venice in 1580. The first complete version of Jerusalem Librata were published in Parma and Ferrara in 1581. So, like I said, the choice of subject matter and an actual historic conflict between Christians and Muslims, albeit with fantastical elements added, had a historical grounding and created compositional implications. The narrative subject matter had a fixed endpoint and could not endlessly spun out in multiple volumes that are lacking in other Renaissance epics. Like other works of the period that portray conflicts between Christians and Muslims, this subject matter had a topical resonance to readers of the period when the Ottoman Empire was advancing through Eastern Europe. So this is the time, like I said, they were portraying Muslims in a very bad light because Ottomans were fighting against the Crusaders. Crusaders wanted Christianity should spread in all parts of Europe, whereas Ottoman Empire had a counter view that Islam should spread in all these lands, and they should politically dominate these lands and not just religiously dominate them. So the fight between the two, Muslims and Christians, both wanted the lands, the people, and conversion of people to their religion, and each treated the other in the bad light. So, like for Ottomans, Christians were not good ones, and for Christians, Ottomans were not good ones, like you already saw in Paradise Lost. So, that was it about Jerusalem Librata. And she says, we must feign a lie. We must feign a noble lie because this noble lie will cause, it must shield our honors. It will shield our honors. So in Tasso's Jerusalem Librata, there is a character Soprina, Soprina, who takes the blame for rescuing the statue of the Virgin Mary from a mosque. This was only to prevent general persecution of Christians. So Prina takes the blame for rescuing the statue of Virgin Mary from a mosque, which was a lie, but a noble lie, so that she prevents general persecution of Christians, that all Christians are not persecuted. Anyway, that's not important. What's important is for now this text. Now, will you please hear me? I have got well of you. Now she again accuses of, already of all this. She tells you that she is going to do this, but look at how she plays it. With every dash, it means she is addressing a different audience. So she has been addressing Antonio in these lines. There is a dash, then she addresses the soldiers. Gentlemen, I will have this man be an example to you all. So shall you hold my favor? I pray let him, for he has done that, alas, you would not think of. And because I intend to be rid of him, I mean not to publish. I mean not to publish. Because I want to rid of him, I mean not to publish. Use your fortune elsewhere is again addressed to Antonio. I mean not to publish. I intend to be rid of him. I mean not to publish. So she just wants to get rid of him, not that she wants a story be cooked up around him and everybody be talking about him, it being a public thing. I'm strongly armed to brook my overthrow. Brook means bear. My overthrow, that he is being overthrown of the charges that he is held, as commonly men bear with a hard year. It will be like I have a hard year to pass, and it's like I'm passing a winter and then it will be followed by a summer. I will not blame the cause on it, but do think the necessity of my male woolen star procures this, not her humor. And here again, her humor means he is not addressing the Duchess, but he is addressing the soldiers. And he says, I will not blame the causes that are leading to my overthrow, but I only think about my male woolen stars. So he is one who believes in providence. That is written in my stars, and my stars have procured this for me, and it's not her humor, it's not her bad temperament. Oh, the inconstant and rotten ground of service. But this ground of service is always a rotten and inconstant thing, however just and honest you are with your work. This is always something on inconstant, something rotten. You may see it is even like him that in a winter night takes a long slumber over a dying fire, a loth to part from it, yet parts then as cold as when he first sat down. Think on this one and tell me what this means. Put your brains at work. Don't just sit and listen. Don't be passive listeners of literature ever. Tell me, what does this mean? Go into the literal meaning, then go into the metaphoric meaning, and then put it into context and tell me, what does this mean?
It's like it may be like if I used her like अगर हम winter में fire पे बैठेंगे and it will be like गर्मी नहीं मिलेगी फिर भी ऐसे ही निकलेंगे वहां से like as cold using her wealth I'm not taking anything from her wealth अगर मुझे करना होता कुछ गलत I'm still not doing I may have taken much wealth from her if I would have doing anything wrong with her wealth.
Good. You see, it is even like him that in a winter night takes a long slumber over a dying fire. So he knows the fire is dying and he will be cold, but he doesn't know in his sleep what is happening to the fire and if he is warm or he is not. So while he was serving the Duchess, he was sleeping near a dying fire, and he didn't know that fire had already extinguished. A loath to part from it. As loath, it is not a loath, it's as loath to part from it, yet parts thence as cold as when he first sat down. He doesn't want to part from it, but when he does, he's as cold as he first sat down. We do confiscate towards the satisfying of your accounts, and finally, all you have, I'm all yours, and 'tis very fit all mine should be so. So, sir, you have to pass, and he leaves. Let's begin. Who was playing Basola? Continue. Duchess will play. Continue. Officers, continue. Basola.
Here is an example for extortion. What moisture is drawn out of the sea when foul weather comes, pours down, and runs into the sea again.
I would know what are your opinions of this, Antonio.
He could not abide to see a pig's head gaping. I thought your grace would find him a Jew. I would. You had been his officer for your own sake. You would have had more money. He, so, uh, he stopped his heirs with Blackpool, and those who came to him for money said he was thick of herring. Some said he was a hermaphrodite, for he could not abide a woman. How scurvy proud he would look when the treasury was full. Well, let him go. Yes, and the chipping of the butterfly, bu- and the chipping of the butterfly after him to scour his gold chain.
Leave us, exeunt officers. Basola is left on stage. What do you think of these? Who are these?
That these are
Wait, who are these?
Officers.
जो officers को बुलाती है Duchess.
Yeah, now she wants to know about the officers behind the officers. What do you think of these?
these are rogues that, in his prosperity, but to have waited on his fortune, could have wished his dirty stirrup riveted through their noses, and followed after his mule, like a bear in a ring. Like a bear in a ring would have prostituted
Would have
their daughters
prostituted their daughters to his lust.
their daughters to his lust, made their firstborn intelligencers, thought none happy but such as were born under his blessed planet, and wore his livery. And do these lies drop off now? Well, now look to have the like again. He had left a sort of flattering rogues behind him, that their doom must follow. Princes, princes pay flatterers in their own money. Flatterers resemble their vices, and they resemble their lies. That's justice. Alas, poor gentleman.
For he hath amply filled his coffers.
Sure, he was too honest. Plato, the god of riches, when he was sent by Jupiter to any man, he goes limping to signify that wealth that comes on God's name comes slowly. But when he is sent on the devil's errand, he rides post and comes in by scuttles. Let me show you what a most unvalued jewel you have in a wanton humor thrown away to bless the man shall find him. He was an excellent courtier and most faithful, a soldier that thought it as beastly to know his value too little as devilish to acknowledge it too much. Both his virtue and form deserved a far better fortune. His discourse rather delighted to judge itself than show itself. His breast was filled with all perfection, and yet it seemed a private whispering room. It made so little noise of it.
But he was basely descended.
Will you make yourself a mercenary herald rather to examine men's pedigrees than virtues? You shall want him for no, an honest statesman to a prince is like a cedar plant. मैम सॉरी
Edith.
पता नहीं मैं स्क्रीन से पढ़ ही नहीं पा रही हूँ
So read from your book. You don't need to read from the screen.
Wait, no. Okay, ma'am. Will you make yourself a mercenary herald rather to examine men's pedigrees than virtues? You shall want him, for no, an honest statesman to a prince is like a cedar planted by a spring. The spring bathes the tree's root, the grateful tree rewards it with his shadow. You have not done so. I would sooner swim to the Bermudas on two politicians' rotten bladders
Bermudas.
tied together with.
Bermudas.
Ji, ma'am?
I will sooner swim to the
I
Bermudas.
on two politicians' rotten bladders tied together with an intelligencer's heartstring than depend on so changeable a prince's favor. Fare thee well, Antonio, since the malice of the world would needs down with thee, it cannot be said yet that any ill happened unto thee, considering that thy fall was accompanied with virtue.
Oh, you render me excellent music.
Say you,
This good one that you speak of is my husband.
do I not do I not dream? Can this ambitious age have so much goodness in it as to prefer a man merely for worth, without these shadows of worth and painted honors? Possible?
I have had 3 children by him.
Fortunate lady, for you have made your private bed,
Nuptial bed.
nup- nuptial bed, the humble and fair seminary of peace. No question but many an unbeneficed scholar shall pray for you for this deed and rejoice that some preferment in the world can yet arise from merit. The virgins of your land that have no dowries shall hope your example will raise them to rich husbands. Should you want soldiers, it would make the very Turks and Moors turn Christians and serve you for this act. Last, the neglected poets of your time, in honor of this trophy of a man raised by that curious engine, your white hand shall thank you in your grave for it, and make that more reverend than all the cabinets of living princes. For Antonio, his fame shall likewise flow from many a pen when heralds shall want courts to sell to men.
As I taste comfort in this friendly speech, so would I find concealment.
Oh, the secret of my prince, which I will wear on the inside of my heart.
You shall take charge of all my coin and jewels and follow him, for he retires himself to Ancona.
So,
No, this is not question marks, though. This is so, which means
so
okay. Means so means exactly that will happen. So, within few days, I mean to follow thee.
let me think. I would wish your grace to feign a pilgrimage to Our Lady of Loreto, scarce 7 leagues from fair Ancona. So may you depart your country with more honor, and your flight will seem a princely progress, retaining your usual train about you.
So your direction shall lead me by the hand. Anika,
In my
In my
opinion,
opinion,
was there somebody already playing Cariola?
no, ma'am, I was like,
Okay,
No,
Anika.
in my opinion, she will better progress to the baths at Lucca or go visit the spa in Germany. For if I believe, for if you will believe me, I do not like this jesting with religion, this vain pilgrimage.
Thou art a superstitious fool. Prepare us instantly for our departure. Past sorrows, let us moderately lament them. For those to come, seek wisely to prevent them. Exeunt Duchess and Cariola, both are alone left on stage.
a politician is the devil's quilted anvil. He fashions all sins on him, and the blows are never heard. He may work in a lady's chamber as here for proof what rests, but I reveal all to my lord. Oh, this base quality of intelligencer! Why every quality in the world prefers but gain and commendation. Now for this act I am certain to be raised and Men that paint weeds to the life are praised.
Um, well, there is a lot that needs to be discussed, I think. Where do we begin? Okay, so when she asked the officers about her husband, only because she has now accused him. Now she asked the officers about him, and they all have a bad opinion about him. And after Bosola and Duchess hear all this, that the officers have such a bad opinion about Antonio, Duchess, it's something that happens that Duchess is not prepared for, because Duchess thinks he's a steward that is revered by all ranks. And Bosola too is taken aback. And Bosola somehow summarizes all the officers in this passage, in this dialogue that he shares with the Duchess. What do you think of these? And he summarizes what does he think of them? That these are rogues that in his prosperity, but to have waited on his fortune, could have wished his